Garrett Blevins here with week 8, day 2 of the Cube Kingpin RTS split. I decided to put my heavy bench and heavy squats for this program together today because I'm going to push up the mock meet 1 week. It works a little bit better with how many weeks out I am from nationals, and I feel like I'm not going to get a whole lot out of the speed week if I just save a whole week for speed work. So this day starts, you do a double at about 80%, 85%, somewhere in there. Then you do a single, and then the program called for another single, but I decided to rep out. I've decided to take that heavier single and just see what I can do with it. So I filmed these on an iPad and used the ubersense app to put in some angles here on this last one to check depth. You'll see here that on this one I'm about 84 degrees on the first rep. The first rep went very well. This weight felt light, um, lighter than it's felt before, and so as far as I perceived it, this was good. On my second rep, I got a little forward, especially out of the hole, and as I came up, I had to really pull back. You see right there in the lift, I had to push backwards, but still a pretty solid rep. And the third rep, which I'm happy on, I sunk it pretty deep, deeper than the other ones. You can see that was in real time, so it was a little bit of a grinder on the way up. But you'll see the depth here definitely below, a little bit lower than those other reps, and felt strong there. So I'm excited to see what'll happen when I try to go for a single rep. I know I'm going to have to stay stable and sink in properly, but I was happy with my squats. Here you see the same progression on bench, a double here with 385. I felt like after those squats I was able to get in a better position as far as being able to roll up on my traps. I've also been using 2 lacrosse balls and a sock. Put those on the floor and then roll up and down with the lacrosse balls separated by about 2 inches. Really working out some of the areas that have been cramping and spasming. And that allows me to retract my shoulder blades. I also was focusing on bending the bar, pulling it apart more, especially before I took it out of the rack, and that seemed to help. Uh, I decided today to switch it up a little bit. I just went through those 3 temptations of Jesus before the beginning of his public ministry, and I was reading this psalm, and it made me think about Jesus' attitude and how he actually acts. Jesus lived his life trusting in God. He didn't make things happen for himself. He didn't, and that's what the temptations were about. The temptations were for Jesus to use his power to make things happen according to his plan, but instead he waited and depended upon God's deliverance of him. In fact, he waited all the way through his crucifixion. He didn't stop it. He could have, or at least he says he could have. He could have asked his Father, and legions of angels could have defended him, but Jesus didn't do that. Instead, he waited for God to show up. And really, that's what the psalmist is talking about here, not worrying about what other people are doing. There is the evil person, there is the unrighteous person, and they may prosper for a while. They may be doing well. Why do bad things happen to good people, and why do good things happen to bad people? The point of this psalm is don't worry about that. God's in control, and God will even things out. That deliverance, that justification, that bringing forth of righteousness, it's going to happen, but it might not happen according to your timetable. But we have to trust God and trust His will for our lives. That's very difficult, but we see Jesus doing that, and we see Him overcoming the temptation not to. Bless.